Well, welcome everybody to 2019, a really important year in Yalumba's history. We have achieved a lot over time, but this is a year in which is a baseline for us, and we really are looking at an invigoration of what Yalumba stands for. When I think about the 170-year journey Yalumba's been on and all the things that we've participated in as a wine grower, wine maker, through fashion and famine for that matter, there's been a modesty that I think is a bit of a legacy that we've addressed here. We've been all too ready over the years, I think, to hide our light under a bushel rather than push ourselves confidently into a market where others have had no fear. We've been almost apologetic at times, whereas some of the newbies have gone out pumping their chests while we've sort of stood in the shadows apologetically. And yet really we've had nothing to be apologetic about because we've made excellent wines for a long time, and no one's ever questioned the excellence of our wines. We realised maybe the missing bit was that accessible premium point in an offer where you can understand what Yalumba stands for without spending a lot of money. And they point to the region we're in, the philosophy of our winemaking, working with nature rather than manipulating flavours, and reflecting vintage and variety. It's always been an imperative to have personality around a wine. And, you know, for 170 years, you know, I think we could look around us and say some people have started in the last 30, have stolen a little bit of a reputational march on us, and it's time for us to grab some back. When I look at some of the other great family wineries around the world, we're 170 years into a sixth generation, and I think we take a lot of pride in that, and what we're bringing out in the market this year through the Samuels collection is going to reflect that pride and the wisdom that comes with being in the game for that long. Graphic design is important, you know, as we say, people buy with their eyes. We've now settled happily, I have to say, on the drawing of the winery itself. It is a classic building of Anguston marble and limestone, and of course the centrepiece of it is the clock tower and the big clock. In looking at what is both, I think, reflects our history and at the same time is classic and timeless, searching for things that differentiate us and define us, of course it is this beautiful building at Yalumba that people take away as their memory point when they visit. And it's going to be heavily, obviously, featured in our packaging. So it's going to be a very strong identity, and it really, in a way, returns us to our recent roots.